When did my roommate become more than just a friend who paid rent? Maya moved in 6 months ago. After responding to my Craigslist ad for a roommate, I needed help with rent on my one-bedroom apartment, and she seemed perfect. Quiet, clean, paid her half on time every month. We barely talked beyond basic apartment stuff for the first few weeks. But slowly, she started doing little things that felt more personal than roommate-level courtesy, making extra coffee in the morning and leaving a cup on the counter for me, picking up groceries I'd mentioned we were out of, small gestures that felt thoughtful but not romantic. Then I started noticing she remembered everything I said, not just important stuff, but random details I'd forget I'd even mentioned, like how I preferred my laundry detergent or that I had a meeting with my boss on Tuesday. She'd ask how things went with specifics that surprised me. When I got sick with the flu, Maya took care of me in ways that went beyond roommate kindness. She made homemade soup, bought the exact cold medicine I usually used, and even called my work to let them know I wouldn't be in. I hadn't told her where I worked or given her my boss's number. I asked how she knew to call, and she said I'd mentioned it while I was feverish, but I remembered our conversations that week, and work never came up. When I pressed her about it, she just smiled and said she was good at picking up details. Maya started showing up places I went regularly. The coffee shop near my gym, the bookstore I browsed on weekends, the park where I liked to read, always with a reasonable explanation. She was meeting a friend nearby, or she'd discovered they had great pastries, or she'd always wanted to check out that walking trail. But the timing felt too perfect, like she always knew exactly when I'd be there. When I mentioned it seemed like a funny coincidence, her face went blank for just a second before she laughed and agreed it was weird how often we ran into each other. I started paying closer attention to her behavior around the apartment. Maya knew my schedule better than I did. She'd have dinner ready right when I got home from my evening classes, even though I'd never told her what time those ended. She'd start the dishwasher exactly when I usually showered so the noise wouldn't bother me. One evening, I came home early and caught her in my bedroom, standing by my desk. She said she was looking for a pen, but there were pens in the kitchen, and my desk drawers were slightly open like someone had been searching through them. That night, I couldn't sleep, so I got up around 2 a.m. for some water. Maya was sitting in the living room in the dark, just watching my bedroom door. When she saw me, she quickly said she couldn't sleep either, and was just thinking. But she didn't have her phone or a book or anything. I started checking my things more carefully. My journal had been moved slightly on my nightstand. Photos on my dresser were in different positions. When I looked through my laptop browser history, there were searches I hadn't made. Searches about my hometown, my college, my family members' social media profiles. Last week, I decided to test something. I told Maya I was going to visit my parents this weekend, but instead, I stayed at my friend Sarah's place. On Sunday evening, I came back to the apartment early and found Maya cleaning frantically. She'd reorganized my entire room, washed all my clothes, and restocked my bathroom supplies. When I asked why, she said she wanted to surprise me when I got back from my trip, but her hands were shaking and she kept avoiding eye contact. That's when I found the box hidden in her closet while she was in the shower. Inside were printed emails, photos of me I'd never seen her take, and detailed notes about my daily routines written in her handwriting. At the bottom was a document I couldn't believe, and that's when I realized Maya hadn't randomly responded to my roommate ad at all. The document in my trembling hands is a birth certificate, not just any birth certificate, mine. Except it lists my parents' names correctly but shows a different birth date than I've celebrated my entire life. And at the bottom, in official typeface, twin birth, female child, 2 of 2. Twin birth, 2 of 2. I'm a twin. My breath catches in my throat as I flip through more papers in Maya's box. There's another birth certificate, hers with the same parents' names, same hospital, same day. Just female child, 1 of 2. The room spins as pieces click into horrifying place. The way she knew my preferences without being told, the coincidental appearances, the familiarity that had seemed like stalking but was something even more unsettling recognition. Maya is my sister, my twin sister. I drop the papers back in the box like they're burning my fingers. Behind me, the bathroom door opens, and Maya steps out wrapped in a towel, her hair dripping. When she sees me kneeling by her closet, the box open in front of me, her face doesn't register shock or anger, just relief. I was going to tell you, she says softly. I just needed to find the right time. I scramble to my feet, backing away. The right time? You've been living in my apartment for 6 months. You've been following me, watching me, going through my things. I wanted to know you, she says, taking a step toward me. Our parents separated us when we were babies. I only found out about you 3 years ago. I grab my keys and phone from the counter, unable to process what she's saying. My entire life feels like a lie suddenly unraveling before me. Don't follow me, I warn, my voice cracking. Don't call me, don't text me. Maya's face crumples. Please, just let me explain. But I'm already out the door, taking the stairs 2 at a time, needing to put distance between myself and the apartment, between myself and this revelation that's shattering everything I thought I knew about my life. In my car, I sit with my hands gripping the steering wheel so tightly my knuckles turn white. My phone buzzes with a text from Maya, but I can't look at it. Instead, I call Sarah, my hands shaking so badly I can barely hit the right contact. "Hey, what's up?" Sarah answers cheerfully. My voice breaks. I clear my throat and try again. "I need somewhere to stay tonight. Can I come over?" The change in her tone is immediate. "What happened? Are you okay?" "No, I don't think I am." My voice sounds distant, like it belongs to someone else. "I found something in Maya's room. Documents. I can barely say it out loud. She's my sister, Sarah. My twin sister I never knew existed." "Holy shit," Sarah breathes. "Where are you now?" "In my car, outside the apartment. Drive straight here. I'm texting you the gate code. Use the visitor spot near my building." I thank her and hang up, starting the engine. As I pull away from the curb, my phone buzzes with 3 texts in quick succession, all from Maya. "Please come back so we can talk about this. I know this is shocking, but it's not what you think. We're family. I've been looking for you my whole life." Family. The word makes my stomach turn. Family doesn't spy on you. Family doesn't manipulate their way into your life under false pretenses. Family doesn't keep detailed notes on your habits and movements. By the time I reach Sarah's apartment complex, my phone has buzzed 7 more times. I ignore it, focusing on finding the visitor parking and making my way to Sarah's door on wobbly legs. She opens before I can knock, pulls me into a hug, and guides me to her couch. "Tell me everything," she says, pressing a glass of water into my hands. The story spills out: the box, the documents, the realization that Maya had targeted me specifically through that Craigslist ad. Sarah listens, her expression growing more concerned with every detail. "You can't go back there," she says when I finish. "Not tonight, maybe not ever. This is seriously disturbed behavior." My phone buzzes again, and this time I glance at it. A new text from Maya. "Our parents didn't want me to contact you. They said it would be too disruptive, but I had to know my sister." "She keeps texting," I say, showing Sarah the screen, claiming there's some big misunderstanding, that she's really my sister. "Even if she is your biological sister, which we don't know for sure, this is not normal," Sarah says firmly. "Normal people don't create elaborate schemes to insert themselves into someone's life. They don't keep surveillance notes. They don't reorganize your bedroom while you're gone." She's right. Whatever Maya's reasons, her methods reveal something deeply wrong. I turn my phone off and set it on the coffee table, suddenly exhausted. "You can stay here as long as you need," Sarah says, squeezing my hand. "Tomorrow we'll figure out what to do. Maybe talk to the police about a restraining order." I nod, too drained to think beyond the next few minutes. My entire identity feels fragile, like tissue paper in the rain. If Maya really is my sister, what else don't I know about myself? What other secrets have been kept from me? Sarah brings me blankets and a pillow for the couch. As I settle in, trying to quiet my racing thoughts, one question keeps circling. How do you protect yourself when the threat comes from someone who might share your own blood? I spend my first night at Sarah's in a haze of disbelief, tossing and turning on her couch, while my mind races with fragments of memories and questions. By morning, I've made a decision. I need answers, real ones, not whatever twisted version Maya wants to feed me. "I'm going to request my adoption records," I tell Sarah over coffee. "If what Maya claims is true, there should be documentation." Sarah nods, stirring her coffee thoughtfully. "That's smart. Start with facts you can verify independently. I've always known I was adopted. My parents never hid that from me, but they kept the details vague, saying only that my birth mother was young and couldn't care for me. Nothing about a twin sister. Nothing about another family." While Sarah heads to work, I call in sick and spend the morning researching adoption laws in our state. By afternoon, I've submitted requests for my records and ordered a DNA test kit that promises results within 2 weeks. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. "I know you're staying with Sarah. Please don't shut me out. I've waited my whole life to find you." My blood runs cold. How the hell does she know where I am? I mutter to myself. Another text arrives. "I left something for you at the door. No pressure to talk yet. Just want you to have it." I peer through Sarah's peephole but see no one in the hallway. Cautiously, I crack the door open. There on the welcome mat sits a gift bag with tissue paper spilling out the top. Beside it, a handwritten note. I snatch both items and lock the door, my heart hammering. The note reads, "These belong to our mother. I thought you should have copies too. M." Inside the bag are photocopies of old photographs, a young couple holding 2 identical-looking baby girls. The back of one photo has "Twins, 3 months," written in faded ink. I sink onto the couch, studying the images. The woman has my eyes. The man has my smile. My phone rings. It's Sarah. "She found me," I say without preamble. "Maya, she left a package at your door." "What? How did she know where you are?" Sarah's voice rises in alarm. "I have no idea. I only told you. I'm coming home. Don't open the door for anyone." An hour later, Sarah returns, and we examine the photos together. "These could be manipulated," Sarah points out. "Photoshop exists." "I know," I say, But there's something about the yellowed edges, the dated clothing styles that makes them feel authentic. I need to check something. I dig through my backpack for the small box of keepsakes I grabbed from the apartment yesterday. Among them is a letter my adoptive parents gave me when I turned 18, a note my birth mother supposedly wrote before giving me up. I pull it out, comparing the handwriting to Maya's note. Oh my God, I whisper. The handwriting isn't just similar, it's completely different. The letter my parents gave me was a forgery. Or Maya's note is. Either way, someone is lying. What is it? Sarah asks. Nothing matches, I explain, showing her. Either my parents lied about this letter, or Maya is fabricating everything. My phone buzzes again. A text from my boss. Hope you're feeling better. That friend of yours stopped by the office looking for you. Seemed concerned when I said you called in sick. She went to my work, I tell Sarah, showing her the message. How does she even know where I work? This is getting really creepy, Sarah says. I think we need to call the police. And tell them what? That my roommate claims to be my sister? That she left me baby pictures? They'll say it's a civil matter. The next morning, I wake to 3 more texts from Maya and another package at the door, this time containing childhood photos of a girl who looks eerily like me at the same ages, wearing different clothes, in different settings, but with the same gap-toothed smile, the same cowlick in her hair. I spend the next week in a state of paranoid vigilance. Maya texts daily. Packages appear. Notes are left on Sarah's car windshield. I change my route to work each day, but somehow Maya knows when I've gone to the coffee shop or the grocery store. Then the DNA test results arrive. Sarah sits beside me as I open the email on my laptop. The screen loads, displaying a pie chart and percentages. 99.9% match, I read aloud, my voice hollow. Full sibling. Sarah stares at the screen. So she wasn't lying about that part. No, I say, feeling strangely numb. Maya really is my sister. I click through the detailed results, discovering more unsettling connections, genetic markers for the same obscure enzyme deficiency I was diagnosed with as a teenager, the same predisposition to the unusual food allergies I've dealt with my whole life. What are you going to do? Sarah asks. I close the laptop. My decision made. Are you sure that's safe? No, I admit, but she's not going to stop. And now I know at least one thing is true: we share the same biological parents. I pick up my phone and text Maya for the first time since I fled the apartment. Coffee shop on Main Street, tomorrow at noon. You get 30 minutes to explain yourself. Come alone. Her reply is immediate. Thank you. I'll be there. I promise everything will make sense. As I set my phone down, I wonder if I'm making a terrible mistake. But the alternative, continuing to run while she stalks every aspect of my life, seems worse. At least this way, I control the meeting. Whatever happens tomorrow, I tell Sarah, don't let me go anywhere alone with her. Sarah nods grimly. I'll be at the next table with 911 pre-dialed. That night, I dream of 2 little girls with identical faces, separated by a growing chasm, reaching for each other as they drift further apart. I wake up wondering which one was me. I arrive at the coffee shop 20 minutes early, choosing a table near the back with a clear view of both entrances. Sarah takes a seat 2 tables away, her laptop open but her attention focused on the door. We've been here for 15 minutes when I see Maya walk in. My breath catches. Seeing her now, knowing what I know, I can't believe I never noticed the resemblance. We have the same eyes, the same chin, even the same way of tucking hair behind our ears. She spots me immediately and walks over, her movements hesitant. Thank you for meeting me, she says, not sitting down yet. Can I get you anything? I already ordered, I reply, gesturing to my half-empty cup. She nods and takes the seat across from me, placing a manila folder on the table between us. I'm acutely aware of Sarah watching from her position, phone in hand. You have 30 minutes, I say, checking my watch. Start talking. Maya takes a deep breath. Our parents weren't just a young couple who couldn't handle a baby. They were married for 3 years before we were born. Dad was finishing medical school. Mom was teaching elementary school. She opens the folder and slides a wedding photo across the table. This is them, on their wedding day. I study the photo, the same couple from the baby pictures, looking young and happy. I recognize my mother's smile, my smile. What happened? I ask, keeping my voice steady despite the tightness in my chest. When we were about 18 months old, they separated. It was ugly. Mom caught Dad having an affair with a nurse at his hospital. Maya's voice trembles slightly. Instead of getting a normal divorce, they made this arrangement. Mom took me, Dad took you. They moved to opposite sides of the country and agreed never to contact each other again. I shake my head, struggling to process this. That's insane. Who splits up twins? People who want to hurt each other more than they care about their children, Maya says bitterly. They each remarried within 2 years. New spouses, new families, clean break. If that's true, how did you find out about me? Maya pulls out more photos, pictures of herself at various ages. The resemblance between us is uncanny. Like looking at my own childhood photos with different clothes, different backgrounds. I always knew I was a twin, she says. Mom told me when I was 8, said my sister died at birth, but when I was 16, I found these old photo albums in our attic, pictures of 2 babies, not one. When I confronted her, she finally admitted the truth. I try to imagine growing up knowing I had a twin somewhere, while I remained completely oblivious. The thought makes me sick. So you've known about me for years. Why show up now? Why the elaborate scheme to become my roommate? Maya looks down, fidgeting with the edge of a photo. I tried finding you through normal channels first. Social media? People search websites. I found you on Instagram 3 years ago. My stomach drops. You've been watching me for 3 years? Just online at first, she says quickly. I didn't want to just message you out of nowhere with, hey, I'm your long-lost twin sister. I needed to understand who you were first. So you stalked me. I observed you, she corrects, though her cheeks flush. I learned about your life, your interests. I wanted our first meeting to feel natural. Natural? I repeat incredulously. You manipulated the Craigslist ad to become my roommate. You went through my things. You kept notes on me like I was some science experiment. Several people in the coffee shop turned to look at us. Maya lowers her voice. I know it seems extreme, but I was afraid you'd reject me if I just told you the truth up front. Our parents did such a thorough job erasing each other from their lives, I wasn't sure if yours had told you about me at all. They didn't, I admit. But that doesn't justify what you did. Maya reaches across the table, but I pull my hands back. I needed to be sure before I revealed myself, she says. I needed to know if we had a connection, if we could be real sisters. By lying to me for 6 months? By reorganizing my room while I was gone? By showing up everywhere I went like some kind of stalker? I got carried away, she admits. Once I moved in, I wanted to know everything about you. The more I learned, the more I felt like I was making up for lost time. I shake my head, glancing at Sarah, who's watching us intently. You know how crazy this sounds, right? This isn't how normal people build relationships. Maya's eyes fill with tears. I've dreamed about finding you since I was 16. You've been the missing piece of my life. When I finally found you, I couldn't risk losing you again. She pulls out one more photo, the 2 of us as toddlers, holding hands, wearing matching dresses. We're standing in front of a Christmas tree, our faces alight with identical smiles. This was the last photo taken of us together, she says softly, before they separated us. Something about the image breaks through my anger. I reach out and take it, studying our tiny faces. I have a right to know my own sister, Maya continues. They stole that from us. They stole 25 years we could have had together. That doesn't excuse your methods, I say, but my voice has lost some of its edge. You could have just told me the truth from the beginning. Would you have believed me? Some stranger claiming to be your twin sister? She has a point. Though I'm reluctant to admit it, I probably would have thought she was crazy. The DNA test confirms we're sisters, I say, but I need time to process all this, and I need you to back off. No more showing up at my work, no more packages at Sarah's door, no more tracking my movements. Maya nods quickly, and I want to talk to our parents. Her expression shifts. They won't be happy about this. They've spent decades pretending the other doesn't exist. Too bad, I say firmly. They don't get to keep this secret anymore. I check my watch. Our 30 minutes are almost up. One last question, I say. The Craigslist ad. How did you manipulate it? I posted it myself. Maya looks down, her cheeks flushing again. I have a friend who works in IT. He created a redirect so your ad only showed up for my IP address for the first hour it was posted. By the time anyone else could see it, I'd already contacted you. The calculated nature of it sends a chill through me. That's disturbing. I know how it sounds, she says, gathering the photos and placing them back in the folder. But I was desperate to find you. To know you. She slides the folder across the table. Keep these. They're copies. There's contact information for both our parents in there too. I take the folder, our fingers briefly touching. I'll call you when I'm ready to talk more, but on my terms, not yours. Maya stands, lingering for a moment. Thank you for listening, for giving me a chance to explain. As she walks away, Sarah moves to my table, sliding into the seat Maya vacated. Well, she asks, what's the verdict? I open the folder, looking at the family photos spread inside. She's definitely my sister, and our parents have a lot to answer for. Sarah reaches across and squeezes my hand. Are you okay? No, I admit, but I think I will be. I just need time to figure out who I am now that everything I thought I knew about myself has changed. I watch Maya through the window as she walks down the street, her posture and gait so similar to my own. My sister. The thought still feels foreign, but no longer completely terrifying. I spend the next week in a strange limbo, staying at Sarah's while my mind wrestles with everything Maya told me. The folder she gave me sits on Sarah's coffee table, a constant reminder of the family I never knew I had. Each night, I find myself opening it, studying the photos of 2 little girls who look exactly alike, wondering how different my life might have been if our parents hadn't made such a selfish choice. Have you called them yet? Sarah asks on the 7th morning, setting a mug of coffee in front of me. I shake my head. I'm not ready. But by afternoon, I realize I'll never truly be ready for this conversation. I pick up my phone and dial the number Maya provided for our biological mother. Hello? The voice that answers sounds so much like my own that my breath catches. Is this Elizabeth Donovan? I ask, using the name from the documents. A pause. Yes. Who's calling? I swallow hard. This is your daughter, the one who went with James. The silence stretches so long I think she might have hung up. Then I hear a shaky breath. How did you find me? Her voice is barely a whisper. Maya found me first, I say. She moved into my apartment 6 months ago and has been watching me. Another long pause. She wasn't supposed to contact you. We had an agreement. The coldness in her tone ignites something in me. Well, she did. And now I know I have a twin sister you never bothered to tell me about. It was complicated, she says defensively. Your father and I split us up like we were furniture in a divorce settlement, I interrupt. Who does that to their children? You don't understand how bad things were between us, she says, after what he did. No, I don't understand, I cut in. Because no one ever gave me the chance to. I grew up thinking I was alone, that I was given up because no one wanted me. That's not true, she says quickly. Your father wanted you. He fought for you. He fought for one of us. I correct her. Not both, I hear her sigh. Maya has always been difficult. Even as a baby, she formed attachments too intensely. When we separated, she became inconsolable whenever your father was around. The therapist suggested a clean break might be better than joint custody. So you just erased half of our family? Pretended the other didn't exist? We thought it was for the best, she says. But her voice lacks conviction. I shake my head, though she can't see me. I need to know the truth, all of it, and I think you owe me that much. The conversation that follows confirms parts of Maya's story, but reveals troubling omissions. Yes, our parents separated when we were toddlers. Yes, they each took one child. But Maya's attachment issues weren't just childhood trauma, they were diagnosed disorders that required years of therapy. She would become obsessed with certain people, our mother explains. Teachers, friends, neighbors. She'd follow them, collect things they touched, try to become exactly like them. When she was 12, a teacher had to get a restraining order because Maya would sit outside her house at night. My stomach tightens. And you never thought this might be important information for me to have before she moved into my apartment? I didn't know she'd found you, she insists. The last I heard, she was doing better, taking her medication, seeing her therapist regularly. After I hang up, I immediately call the number for our father. His conversation follows a similar pattern: shock, defensiveness, then reluctant truth-telling. He confirms Maya's diagnosis, attachment disorder stemming from our separation, exacerbated by her obsessive personality. She fixated on the idea of finding you for years, he tells me. I tried to discourage it. I was afraid she'd overwhelm you. Well, she did more than overwhelm me, I say bitterly. She manipulated her way into my life, spied on me, collected information about me like I was some research project. He sighs heavily. That sounds like Maya when she's not managing her condition. Has she been taking her medication? I have no idea, I admit, but I'm going to find out. After the calls, I sit with Sarah on her couch, processing everything I've learned. So she's stalked other people before, Sarah says. That's not reassuring. Apparently, I'm not her first roommate either, I tell her. Dad said she's done this twice before. Both times, the roommates eventually filed restraining orders. Sarah's eyes widen. You need to talk to the police. I nod, the weight of the situation finally sinking in. I know. The next morning, we file a report at the local precinct. The officer listens carefully as I explain the situation, the manipulated Craigslist ad, the surveillance notes, the history of similar behavior. He takes copies of the documents Maya left with me and promises to investigate. 2 days later, Maya is served with a restraining order and a court summons. The judge, after reviewing her history and the evidence, mandates psychiatric evaluation and therapy. I'm not in the courtroom when it happens, but I receive a call from the prosecutor afterward. She didn't contest anything, he tells me. She admitted to manipulating the roommate situation and monitoring your activities. The judge has ordered 6 months of intensive therapy and medication management, with regular court check-ins. Will that be enough? I ask. It's a start, he says. Her previous therapist testified that with proper treatment, she can learn to manage her attachment issues in healthier ways. I spend the next few months rebuilding my life. I find a new apartment, one with better security. I change my routines, my social media settings, even my gym membership. Sarah helps me move, staying over that first night to make sure I feel safe. Do you think she'll get better? Sarah asks as we unpack kitchen boxes. I pause, considering the question. I hope so, for both our sakes. 6 months pass. I receive updates from the court about Maya's progress. Her therapist reports consistent improvement, medication compliance, and developing awareness of boundaries. Eventually, I agree to a carefully monitored meeting at her treatment center, with her therapist present. Maya looks different when I see her thinner, more subdued, but clearer somehow. Her eyes meet mine with a mixture of shame and hope. I'm sorry, she says immediately, for everything. I know now how wrong it was. Why did you do it? I ask, the question that's haunted me for months. She looks down at her hands. When I found out about you, it was like discovering a missing piece of myself. I became fixated on the idea that if I could just be close to you, be part of your life, everything would finally make sense. She pauses. But I went about it all wrong. I violated your trust and your space. I'm working to understand why I do these things. We talk for an hour under the watchful eye of her therapist. It's awkward and painful, but also cathartic. By the end, I feel something I didn't expect, a tentative hope. 1 year after finding that box in Maya's closet, we meet at a coffee shop. No therapists, no court mandates, just two sisters trying to find a way forward. The restraining order has been modified to allow controlled contact, and Maya has been compliant with all her treatment requirements. I'd like to try again, she says carefully. Not as roommates, obviously, but maybe as sisters. Real ones this time, with healthy boundaries. I study her face so like my own, yet belonging to someone who was once a stranger, then a threat, and now something in between. I'd like that too, I say finally, slowly, one step at a time. She smiles, and for the first time, I don't see calculation behind it, just relief and cautious hope. One step at a time, she agrees. As we sip our coffee, I realize that family isn't just about shared DNA or childhood memories. Sometimes it's about choosing to build something new from the broken pieces of what should have been with clear eyes, firm boundaries, and the courage to try again.